Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for Talking Lead, so brace yourself, baby.
All right, Lead Heads, welcome back to another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. I'm your host, Lefty. I appreciate you guys giving me a little vacation there. About a week and a half off, and we are back with a great episode 293. As I was gone, I left you guys with a supersized edition. It was over 2 hours of interviews that we did from the 2019 SHOT Show. We had our good buddy Buell from Fiocchi Ammunition. Also joining us during that interview, we had our good buddy Paul Markle and Jared Markle of Student of the Gun. We did a little rap session with our buddy Ryan from All Tie Gear, and he brought along his super fabric expert to school you guys on that material that their awesome boots are made out of. And then we also had our good buddy Andrew from Century Arms. He brought along Jason to fill us in on all the great things that's coming from Century Arms. And then, of course, helping me co-host that episode, we had none other than Jeremy Smith with Smith & Bradley Watches, giving us an update on all the great things coming from them. So got another great episode coming up for you guys. Information-packed. We're going to be talking smart butt stocks. We're going to be talking roller-delayed blowback guns. Blast from the past. Our good buddy Zeke the Squatch comes by, and he brings a friend of his that are helping our veterans. It's an organization called Hero Hunt. That's Joe Towers. We even get a visit from the Governor of Idaho. So this is going to be another great episode. Continuing these kick-ass interviews that we did during the 2019 SHOT Show from the Buck Knives booths, sponsors of the Leadquartes. But all that's coming up in this episode, so stay tuned for that. So let me fill you guys in on what all I've been up to during my time off. As you know, I went down to the Big 3 East down in Daytona Beach, the Tiger Bay area down there, and had a great time. The weather was perfect, some of the best weather that we've had during that event in a long time, and I took advantage of it, so I got a lot of range time in, and didn't do as many interviews as I normally do. But the ones that we did are really good interviews, and I look forward to bringing those to you guys in an upcoming episode. I'm going to have a few other people that were there that were attending, help roll in those episodes as I bring them to you guys. I also had the opportunity to take a 2-day LaRue Tactical Armorers course, and the instructor's name was Robert G., and this guy's a genius. I mean, he's forgotten more information about rifles, about AR-15 and gunsmithing them than I'll ever learn probably. But it was a great course, picked up a lot of golden nuggets. So that's something that we're going to bring to you lead heads as well. Robert G. is going to join us on an upcoming episode. Get some good tips and tricks for you home armorers. And maybe if you want to take it a little step further, he'll be able to tell you guys what you need to do to enroll in some of their armorers courses that they have there at LaRue Tactical. So those tips and tricks that I learned from Robert have come in handy. I've ordered some new parts, been doing some home projects. You've been seeing me post those on social media and Instagram. Good buddies over at Palmetto State Armory have really been coming through for me and get me some of those unique parts that I've been looking for to complete some of these projects. Kel-Tec, one of the sponsors of Talking Lead. I've been working on a PLR 16. I've had it for a few years now, and I didn't really know what direction that I wanted to really head with it, but since those pistol braces have really come a long way in their design, I decided to do a pistol brace build with my PLR 16, and I used a Midwest Industries handguard and a Palmetto State Armory pistol brace. They sent the buffer and the brace itself, the springs, the whole assembly kit. Got all that, put it together. It looks really good. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. So you guys go check out Palmetto State Armory. They've always got great deals there for pretty much any part that you can think of for your AR, your AK, your pistols, whatever it may be, they've got it there. So some things I've got coming up, and this one is sooner than later. This is probably, as you guys are listening to this, I'll be at this course or we'll have just finished it up. But as you guys know, I've mentioned in some episodes past, we've had Rob Pincus on with PDN and ICE training. I've been working with him, collaborating with him, and some of you lead heads, thank you for all your help. Jerry Black, Kenny Ortega, for putting some classes together, specifically for you lead heads here in Nashville. That one just happens to be this weekend, and I'll be there, and I hope to see some of you lead heads there. I know a few of you will be attending, so I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, going through this intuitive defensive shooting class with y'all. And that's going to be at Royal Range. So if any of you guys are in town, going to be in town, swing by. We'll be out there training Saturday and Sunday. That'll be the 6th and 7th. But if not, you guys go to their website. You can go to their website, icetraining.com, go to their calendar. You can see a list of all the courses that they're offering across the nation. But that next Leadhead class is going to be the one in Pala, California, July 17th and 18th. If you're going to be in that area, you want to go to that class. That one is the next one that's specifically for you lead heads. So let them know you're a lead head when you sign up, and they're going to take good care of you. And any of these other classes that they have around the country too, I've noticed that some of you have commented online that you'd like to attend some other ones that we didn't specifically work with them on. But let them know you're a lead head. You never know. They may hook you up and give you a good deal on those as well. So speaking of good deals and taking care of you lead heads, make sure you go and show some love to our sponsors, the official optics of Talking Lead, Right On Optics. Check them out at righton, RITON optics.com. We had that great interview with Hoist Gracie during our Optics 101 class with our good buddy J-Mac from Right On. It was awesome of him to hook that interview up. We're going to get Hoist back on. We're actually in talks with maybe doing some things with him. He had mentioned he may be coming to the Nashville area sometime later this year. So that could be coming down the pike, another interview with Hoist Gracie. And then speaking of things coming up, we also have that Charlie Melton world record long rifle shot that he's going to be doing out in Utah. So I am in the planning stages of getting that finalized and getting out there to cover that. It's really going to be an awesome event. I mean, just the thought of somebody shooting a target from 7,000 yards away, it's going to be amazing. So one way or the other, we're going to get Charlie on and Brad and the gang to talk about that. And that's coming up. I believe that's going to be the 18th through the 21st or something around there. They're going to have a video crew down there videoing the whole thing. So crossing our fingers and hope everything works out that we'll be able to be there for that too. X Steel Targets.
X Steel Targets.
The best, most affordable AR-500 steel targets on the market today. They're going to be there during that shot. So Bud custom made some targets for Charlie just for this world record shot. So those will be awesome to check those out. Bud also joined me down at Big 3 East. He brought a lot of his targets down there to become the new official target for the Big 3 East. So congratulations to Bud on that. You guys check him out, xsteeltargets.com. He had that Texas Star down there, and I tell you, it was probably the hit. People loved shooting that Texas Star. We got some pretty hot competitive shooting competitions going between a lot of us down there where we were shooting that. It was really a good time. He had the dueling tree down there, and then he had his silhouette targets. He had one of his hostage targets. He had his coyote target down there, one of his harvest targets. Really good time shooting those AR-500 steel targets. Check them out, xsteeltargets.com. And, of course, we've told you before, the modern Spartan Systems oil. Charlie has been using that in his rifles for a while now and really swears by it. Helps his accuracy with that Spartan Accuracy oil. And then, of course, they've got all the other cleaning solutions that you need. The carbon destroyer, the greases, the copper destroyer. So check them out, modernspartansystems.com. So before we get into that lineup of awesome interviews that I just told you about, we got to take care of some Jackwagons, guys. You have filled my inbox with Jackwagons, so let's knock a few of those out before we get into these interviews. Gunny, bring that train in.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the Talking Lead Jackwagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
Man, oh man, where to start? Let's go with this one. This is from Craig Bathurst. Craig B. Craig writes in, here's another jackwagon to put on the train. Democrat Pennsylvania Representative Angela Cruz from around Philadelphia. Looks like she introduced and sponsored House Bill 768, which creates gun registration in Pennsylvania. Craig goes on to say this is a terrible bill that is unconstitutional and infringes on the rights of law-abiding citizens. He says, I have already wrote my representatives about this bill and notified my Sportsman Association fellow members. So good job. Way to go, Craig. That's the best thing that you can do. When bills like this get introduced, the best thing to do is inundate your representatives, your senators, your local politicians, and let them know how much you oppose these things. Or if it's one you agree with, show them the support as well. That it works both ways. But you got to be loud, you got to be boisterous, you got to make your opinions heard, and to do that, you got to be louder than the other side. And Craig, you did the right thing. So good job. And all you other Pennsylvanians, help Craig out in stymieing Bill 768. So thanks for sending that in, Craig. So this next one is kind of up in that area as well. We're going to go to New Jersey. And New Jersey is suing a California company over ghost guns. So this one comes to us from Leadhead Jeffrey Haddix. And Jeffrey sent me a link here, so I'm going to go to this link. And it says, New Jersey's Attorney General announced a lawsuit Friday against a California company that sells mail-order firearm parts that can be turned into working weapons. Okay. The first such action the state has taken since it banned so-called ghost guns, that's in quote, last year. Because there's no such thing as a ghost gun. It doesn't exist. A ghost gun is an unserialized firearm, is what they're calling a ghost gun. The lawsuit filed Thursday alleges that Apple Valley-based U.S. Patriot Armory and owner-founder James Trombley Jr. violated New Jersey's consumer fraud laws when it advertised and sold gun parts to an undercover investigator last month. The company was sent a letter in December asking it to stop advertising, offering for sale, and or selling ghost guns and ghost gun parts to New Jersey residents, according to the suit. But in February, an investigator for the Attorney General's office ordered parts for an AR-15 assault rifle. It's just a rifle, guys. It's an AR-15 rifle. The shipment was received this month, according to the suit. According to the Attorney General, Gurbir Guruwal, 15 other companies that received similar letters have either posted warnings to potential New Jersey buyers on their website or removed the state from list of available shipping addresses. The lawsuit seeks civil penalties and to stop the company from shipping parts to New Jersey. A phone message seeking comment was left Friday with the company. Ghost guns are unregistered weapons that don't have serial numbers. I just said that. Companies sell the nearly complete weapons often along with the parts needed to finish them, as well as training so the firearms can be completed. So what they're talking about are 80% lowers that you as an individual have the right to finish on your own, unserialized, and you don't have to serialize those. There's no law that says you have to do that. I guess there's some certain state laws that do now. But it is completely legal for you to, as long as you don't engage in the sale of that firearm. If you intend to sell it, then at that point you have to get a serial number for it, register it, and then you can sell it. But as long as you're going to keep possession of that firearm and own it yourself, you don't have to serialize it. I'm not an attorney, so consult your local attorney for local laws and rules and regulations. But he goes on to say, Democrat New Jersey Governor Phil Murray signed a law last fall that made it a crime punishable by up to 5 years in prison to buy gun parts for use in making firearms with no serial numbers. It's also a crime to possess an unregistered assault firearm in New Jersey, punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Assault, I mean, they just assault firearm. It's just whatever they want it to be. Basically is what an assault firearm is. But it says specifically for these you can't order parts for these ghost guns. So how do they know if you're ordering a trigger, if you're ordering a handguard, if you're ordering a buttstock, what it's for? So I don't understand that part of it. So it goes on to say, 5 years prison by gun parts used in making firearms with no serial numbers. It is also a crime to possess an unregistered assault firearm in New Jersey, punishable by up to 10 years in prison. And then there's quotes. By advertising and selling dangerous and illegal ghost guns to New Jersey residents, failing to disclose the criminal liability buyers are exposing themselves to, and affirmatively misrepresenting that these guns are legal to purchase, this company has shown blatant disregard for New Jersey's consumer protection laws. Division of Consumer Affairs Acting Director Paul Rodriguez said in a statement. So dangerous. I mean, all guns are dangerous. All knives are dangerous. All cars are dangerous. All liquids are dangerous. You have the ability to choke on them. Illegal ghost guns, they're not illegal. They're not federally illegal anyway. And speaking of, that's going to be something else that we're going to talk about. So, but anyway, I mean, this is ludicrous. A California company, an idiot in New Jersey who broke their rules. Actually, it was an undercover guy, so it wasn't even. So it was probably entrapment. But I think this California company, what is it? U.S. Patriot Armory. I think they should prevail in this and show these people what a big jackwagons they are. So we don't know all the specifics of the case and what's going on with this in this article. So I don't know. If anybody has any more information on this, send it to me. I'd like to get more details, but it sounds like entrapment to me, that they set these guys up, and I think they'll probably lose this court case. I hope they do anyway. So, welcome to the Jackwagon Train, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, and whoever this undercover guy was who set this U.S. Patriot U.S. Patriot Armory up. If anybody has an in with U.S. Patriot Armory, I'd love to get them on the show and get their side of this. So, talkinglead@gmail.com. Let me know. All right, good one, Jeffrey. So let's go to our next one. And this is kind of one of those Darwin Award kind of jackwagons. And this comes to us from Leadhead Kenneth H. McGee. 2 men arrested for taking turns testing bulletproof vest on each other. Okay, and he sends me the link here, and just 2 good old Billy Bobs with their mugshots. It's pretty funny. So I'll read this story. This is Benton County, Arkansas. Police arrested 2 men after they took turns shooting one another while wearing bullet-resistant vests, according to a probable cause affidavit. Okay. Charles Eugene Ferris, 50, and Christopher Hicks, 36, were arrested Monday. This is April the 1st. April Fools. Maybe this was an April Fool's joke they played on each other. In connection with aggravated assault. They were released on a $5,000 bond and were issued a no-contact order from Benton County Jail on the 2nd. Benton County Sheriff's Deputy, I'm not going to read all these people's names, went to Mercy Hospital around 11 p.m. Sunday, March 31st, to investigate a male who had been shot multiple times while wearing a bulletproof vest. The officer interviewed Ferris, who had a red spot on his chest. Ferris told an elaborate story to try and cover up the truth. He said someone from the edge of a tree line began shooting at him and the, quote, asset on Highway 12, according to the affidavit. Ferris changed his story about the incident and said he did not want to get Hicks in trouble, so he made up the story prior to his statement. He then told police what really happened and said he had been drinking, on his back deck with Hicks and wanted Hicks to shoot him with the vest on. Hicks shot Ferris with a .22 caliber semi-automatic rifle. The bullet hit the top left corner of the vest, stopping the bullet, but leaving a red mark. Ferris told police he was, quote, pissed, and Hicks put the vest on. Ferris then unloaded the clip into Hicks' back, according to the police report. No rounds from the .22 caliber semi-automatic rifle penetrated the vest. Well, there you go. I mean, that's a pretty good test for the .22. I wonder if they were going to start at the .22 and work their way up to higher calibers. It doesn't say what vest they were using or anything like that, but I don't know what the crime is. I guess you're not supposed to shoot people with bulletproof vest on. I don't know. Nobody was hurt or injured, it doesn't look like. I guess maybe he had some bruises or something, but I guess since they went to the hospital has to report gunshot-related wounds, so that's how the police got involved, I guess. So, yeah, welcome to the Jackwagon Train, Eugene and Christopher. Yeehaw! So in our last episode, Jeremy and I talked about the massacre that happened in New Zealand at the mosque. And here's a story kind of following up with that. It says, New Zealand confiscations begin. Police going to gun owners' homes, jobs, one gun owner dead. So, I don't guess their citizens were behind this as much as they were letting on, which I'd be interested to see more of these stories. So as you lead heads are out there and you see more of these stories about the disapproval of New Zealand passing the banning of semi-automatic rifles and weapons in that country, I'd like to see those. And this is one, and this came to us from Kenneth H. McGee. So he sent us two in. So thanks, Kenneth, for that. And I did ask you guys to keep me updated on this last episode, so thank you for doing that. TalkingLead@gmail.com. You guys want to submit Jackwagons? If you got elaborations on some of these stories and things that we're talking about, be happy to see those. Just shoot me an email, talkinglead@gmail.com. But this article says, according to members of New Zealand's largest firearm forum, Kiwi police are starting to go to gun owners' places of employment, homes, and even visiting gun ranges in an attempt to gather information and get gun owners to relinquish their firearms. Additionally, it appears that New Zealand's crackdown on semi-automatic long guns has claimed its first victim. According to Stuff, which appears to be New Zealand's equivalent to the Patch, which I don't know what the Patch is either, a former Russian soldier who feared going back to prison tried to call his son before dying of a suspected suicide following a 3-hour standoff with police. Family of 54-year-old Troy Dubosky told Stuff he was sought by police after his property in the Christchurch suburb of St. Martin's was searched on Tuesday. Police acted on information from the public. His son posted a photo with him wearing a Russian army helmet and posing with an airsoft rifle on social media. Dubosky's 16-year-old son, who Stuff has decided not to name, said police searched the home of his father, mother, grandparents, and grandparents after some reported a photo the teen made his profile picture on Facebook 5 days ago. The photo, which he first posted to Facebook several years ago, shows the teen holding a replica rifle wearing a Russian helmet. The teen used the equipment along with his father while playing airsoft, a team sport where people shoot each other with pellets using replica guns. So I guess it's okay to shoot yourself with pellet guns, but you can't shoot yourself with 22 wearing a bulletproof vest. Of course, it's two different countries too, but anyway. The boy's father was a veteran of the Soviet and later Russian army and spent time in Afghanistan, Chechnya while assigned to a Special Forces unit. Upon a search of the residence, police found an 8mm blank pistol, an airsoft rifle, and an SKS carbine. The SKS is now illegal under the country's new ban. So, there you go. The confiscations in New Zealand have begun, and I bet we're going to start hearing more stories like this of people not fully cooperating in giving up their inalienable God-given right to protect themselves. More to come. All right, so we'll do one more. And this is another one from Jeffrey Haddix. Jeffrey writes, says, "Hey, Lefty, what is the opposite of a jackwagon? I know we have a train to send those members of our great nation that disrespect our rights, property, and most of all, our freedom, but isn't it about time we have a special recognition for those that champion those same things? I don't know exactly what we should call these everyday heroes, but you are the idea guy." Well, thanks. I have a few ideas. "If there was such an honor, I would like to recognize Judge Roger T. Bennett of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California." So this kind of gets us into the other thing that I was talking about earlier. His decision striking down California's unconstitutional magazine ban recognized our rights, our property, and our freedoms. I don't think the fight is over yet for us in the once great state of California, and hopefully this will be a catalyst for taking back our freedoms. Though retiring to a freedom-loving state like Tennessee is very appealing, if these restrictions are allowed to stand here, they will grow slowly and contaminate the rest of our nation. So like I said, I don't know if the title hero or patriot are what the award should be, but I think they should be recognized for keeping America great. Thanks again for all the great interviews you do, better than any other podcast. Jeff Haddix. Well, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that. And yes, this is something that we need to be aware of. If you guys haven't, I made some posts on social media kind of celebrating this decision that Judge Bennett's made, saying that the high capacity, I put in quote, high capacity magazine ban that California has had for the past, I don't know, a decade, 2 decades, was overturned, but it is under protest. So it isn't, they're not out of the woods yet, but I know a lot of the online, this gets to the guy in California that got in trouble in New Jersey. The online gun companies have opened up their 30-round plus magazine sales to California now. And I know Palmetto State was one of those that opened it up probably earlier than anybody else. But yes, if you guys, and I'm going to leave it to you lead heads, because you lead heads have the best ideas of all. So come up with a name for the opposite of our jackwagon train, and we will, I'll start recognizing the people who do great things for our country, our Constitution, our Second Amendment rights, and we'll start acknowledging that. So yeah, good idea, Jeff. I appreciate that. But like I said, they're not out of the woods yet, and if they can make this unconstitutional in California, they can do it in these other states as well. So we really need to get on board with this, help our fellow Californians in this support, backing this decision, and making sure that it doesn't get overturned. Kind of like the gun grabbers in trying to get things banned, like the bump stocks. They got the bump stocks banned. And there's that slippery slope to where if they do that, then it's going to lead to other things. Well, hopefully we've started on the other end of that candle and started our fire burning. This is our slippery slope. Keep me posted as updates on this come through, guys. TalkingLead@gmail.com. Send those to me. I want to keep my finger on this pulse. So there we go. Good Jackwagon Train this week, guys. Got a lot more. Wasn't able to get to them. But keep them coming in. Send them to me, talkinglead@gmail.com. Put in the subject Jackwagon Train, and then send me your ideas on what we should do to honor those that fight the good fight and make the right decisions, like this Judge Roger T. Bennett of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California has done. And then, of course, any other ideas, suggestions, comments you have, you can always send those to me, talkinglead@gmail.com. I know a lot of you guys reach out to me on Facebook through the private messaging and on Instagram, and that's fine too. I don't check those as often. I've turned off my notifications, just so you know. But I do check them periodically, and I will see them. It may be not as soon as I would see an email. So just so you know, a little heads up there. All right, guys, let's get into these awesome interviews that we're continuing from the 2019 SHOT Show from the Buck Knives official Leadquartes booth. Coming at you now. What you got?
I don't know.
Okay. Is that all that's left?
Yeah.
Double X for Mike.
2X.
Oh, wow, those went.
2X's and 3X's is all we got left.
2X probably for me.
I could use it as a blanket.
You could use that after we sleep in it.
You know somebody that could wear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this should be good for me, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's 100% something, so it'll probably
It's 100%
It's not
something.
going to shrink. They're already shrunk.
not?
No, they're already shrunk.
Sorry, Mike.
Pre-shrunk.
It's fine.
Pre-shrunk. I should have got here earlier,
Well,
like 2 days ago.
sorry.
Damn it, Sodini.
I was, it's crazy. I knew a guy that works here with Talking Lead. I was texting him, and he wasn't responding. So.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes.
The dude- Well,
He's like,
he's
where
got.
are you? What are you doing?
He's got a social coordinator over here that's supposed to be keeping up with that kind of stuff. So, passing the blame to her. Here, you keep up with that for me. All right, guys, we got another interview coming at you from the 2019 SHOT Show from the official Leadquartes of Buck Knives here in Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas! And we've got a native. You're not from Vegas, but you live here now, so I can't say you're native.
I lived here since 2005. But
Okay, so long enough, right?
Right.
Would you call yourself native?
now, yeah,
Yeah.
I've been here long enough.
Okay. All right.
Spent enough time here.
So you can take the boy out of Jersey, but you can't take the Jersey out of the boy.
Never.
If you don't recognize the voice by now, you hadn't been listening to our podcast long enough. It's none other than Mike Sodini.
Here I am, yay.
Eagle Imports and his latest venture, Walk the Talk America,
Yes.
which has kept you extremely busy since you've started it.
Yeah, I wanted to make my life super complicated, so I was like,
Wasn't
why don't I just
complicated enough
Take
dealing with
on
rap.
a second job for a nonprofit that makes me no money, but we're doing great things, so it's
You are doing
worth
great
it.
things, and you guys make sure you go back and check our past episodes. We have Mike on talking about Walk the Talk America, but just catch our listeners up real quick on the concept of Walk the Talk America.
The concept basically is bridging the gap between the mental health community and the firearms industry. We got to talk to each other to kind of figure this thing out. We don't have to use any legislation. We can talk to the other side or the so-called other side and find out what policies, programs work the best for people. Our industry needs it. They need to understand us, right? As gun culture.
And we need to understand them.
And we need to understand them,
Yeah,
right?
that's part of how you make things work, and communicating is key to that. And what you've done is you got their phone number, they got your phone number, you bridge that gap, like you said, and you're bringing together.
Yep.
And you teamed up with Mental Health of America.
Mental Health America, yep. And at SHOT Show, we had a booth that was donated by NSSF. It was downstairs. Nice little Walk the Talk America, Mental Health America collaboration. We brought out our suicide prevention program for ranges, and just had a bunch of literature pamphlets. We also had the Vice President of Mental Health America in the booth talking to people, learning about gun culture, everything. It was great.
So was it like a shock to them, or were they really taking it in? And
I think that she was impressed with how responsible we are, how much we talk about responsibility. There was a lot of sharing of stories.
How that's kind of the forefront of all of our conversations when we're talking about firearms. Is that safety's always first and education. Yeah. So she was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, the good news is I also teamed up with the Nevada Coalition of Suicide Prevention. This guy Rich Egan, and he had his team working the booth too, because I had to be bouncing around between 2 floors.
Right. Yeah. You were doing Eagle and the Walk Talk American.
But Rich was, he's an ex-military guy, and he loves guns. So it was cool because he's
kind of already there.
Yeah. You know what I mean. So he was able to.
A lot of the work done, and I'm sure he probably could help with bring the other people on board.
Oh yeah, he was walking.
He's on both sides.
Yeah, he was walking Debbie around and it was teaching her everything. I mean, everything. She was learning so much because she's never had an issue with firearms. I mean, that's one cool thing about Debbie, but she doesn't know anything. So she's just like as she likes to put it, she's Switzerland. She's neutral. She doesn't So she was learning a lot. That's what we need, though. We need people to understand, even the little nuances, like the difference between semi-automatic and automatic, and those things. That's what we're gonna get.
Yeah, and a magazine versus a clip, and all this kind of stuff. So getting her caught up on not just the terminology and whatnot, but you brought her here to get a feel of the people. Because what better place, to get a feel of the gun culture than coming to an event like SHOT Show?
Absolutely.
So I thought it was genius of you to.
Thank you. I'm trying
to reach out that off of that olive branch, and to date, since you started this, you guys have got some programs in place. You're doing some things in the schools.
Yep, we got some SOS kits. We basically pay for high schools, middle schools to have these kits that train teachers to spot certain aspects, and basically give them mental health awareness where they can look for it in the kids. We also, we've been passing out these bands. Everyone's got those on. Yeah. You don't even have to take them off to shower. You can keep them on forever.
You just wear them forever?
Yeah, you don't even have to.
Is that ink going to last forever? Is it ever going to wear out?
Doesn't matter, because I can give you a new one.
I love the color that you chose for your Walk to Talk America. That's Talking Lead Green right there, baby.
Yep, and that is the color of fighting in the open for mental health. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. One funny story, so I've done all these shows and done radio spots and TV spots talking about the whole Walk to Talk America thing, but I've never actually done it in front of someone from the MHA. And it was the most nerve-wracking thing. A mental health expert walks around the corner, and I'm doing an interview, and she's just staring at me.
Right. Hanging on your every word.
They're really big on language, you know what I mean? So it's retraining your brain not to say certain things like commit suicide, right? Took their life, or things like that you just.
So they don't want you to say commit suicide?
No, because you're not committing a crime. You're not, it's important to them. I know it is what it is, but
But do you think that came not through laws, but through biblical sense, because you're committing a sin? I think that's where the base of it started from, but I get what you're saying and the way people phrase words and how they're interpreted. So yes,
right, something dirty, I guess.
Right, that way, exactly, right? Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean a crime, though. You commit to going to a movie.
I'm not going to argue with her.
Yeah, don't argue with her. So they don't like the term commit.
I'm trying to build the bridge here. But no, there's just little things, right? I mess up all the time.
And saying crazy and calling people crazy.
That was a big thing, right?
Yeah. I learned that. You taught me that.
Yeah. Stop saying a lunatic or a psychopath with a gun, right? Things like that add to the stigma. And you're going to screw up. Look, we are.
It happens.
It's going to take a while.
Come on. I'm kind of ingrained in my ways. But I can change too.
Yeah, but it's just little things like that, and a give and take, right? There's certain things that we have to explain to her, and she's got to hit those marks too. So.
Exactly. Yeah, it works both ways.
Right. Exactly. So.
But that's the willingness. That's the great thing, is the willingness to want to come and learn our side, and vice versa. Us wanting to go and learn that side.
Right. And
it's give and take, like you said, man.
When you have that open dialogue and there's that trust factor, the cool thing about it is the the guards down, so they see certain aspects like of red flag laws, which they try to stay neutral on. But when I explained to her certain things, she was like, "That is ridiculous. Like that is ridiculous that in New Jersey, in a time of crisis, you cannot hand your gun to a friend or family member and have them leave the house, because then now you're both felons." I'm sure she's heard that before, but when your guard's up, you're just like, whatever, it's a gun thing. Now she's like, wait a minute, you can't? That is ridiculous. We're going to fight against that. We're going to get our advocacy group on it. So
for our listeners who don't know what that is, explain what the red flag law is.
There's a handful of states that have red flag laws, and it's a dirty word in our industry, and it freaks people out because people are afraid that they will not get their due process if they're accused of having some mental health crisis or issue. So,
and the way that works is if you, as an individual, suspect someone else of having mental problems or issues that could result in either harm to them or harm to someone else, then you go report them. And am I telling it right? If I'm wrong,
no,
then
you are.
Okay. I want to make sure I understand it properly as well.
Yeah, and I was supposed to get David up here. I actually brought somebody to the SHOT Show who's very pro 2A.
Oh, yeah, I remember you saying.
Yeah, that had to red flag his father in Washington State.
Right, and how reluctant he was to do it.
Super reluctant, but super objective guy. And because a lot of us talk about red flag laws, and we don't know anybody that's had to do them or any of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh.
And what happens is once you report them, then the authorities have to go out to that person's residence and then clear all the firearms out, or
but here's like something that I learned from David going through this process was the police were really working with him to keep it in the family.
Okay.
They were giving them every opportunity, and the cops were like, look, we're here on standby, unless you say go,
guiding them to
and
not have to really come in and enforce that.
Right, and unfortunately, he had to call them in. It was just too much, and but that's something I didn't know, right? Because it's this kind of thing, or you think it's like stormtroopers that are just going to come in, no,
kick your door in,
right? Yeah, they're humans,
throw you
man.
down
They're
on
just
the
like,
floor.
look, try to fix this, right? Like so. That was kind of a fascinating thing, but I think I will have him on your show because he wanted to do
Let's
it.
do it, yeah.
Yeah, so we can get him on
Skype
a later
him in,
date.
yeah. Or if you want me to come back out to Las Vegas, is this where he lives?
Well, I'm sure he'll come too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm not online, but can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, so Tia's going to ask a question.
So, if the red flag thing was to come up and the cops came and took the guns away, do you ever get them back, or they're gone? You lose them for good?
Actually, they let David transfer the guns into his name. Now, see, here's one of the things about that. David flat out says, Mike, if I didn't make a good living, I came from like an underserved or underprivileged community or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I wouldn't have been able to take the guns.
Wouldn't be able to afford it?
Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to afford it because it's the transfers, And he had to send them down to Colorado where he lives because he's not from Washington. So, I mean, there's these little things you learn.
Sure.
And
Probably depends too if you're in a gun-friendly state,
right.
of how this goes down.
This is Mike
and how
Baker, by the way, people.
Willing they are to work with you.
Right, so Sodini brought a friend with him, and introduce your friend, Mike.
This is Mike Baker from Alpha Guardian, but you know him as Cannon Safe, Gun Vault,
Stack on safes.
Stack on Safes.
I'm reading all. Yeah,
He's got a.
Yeah, we own a slew of brands, and but yeah, we're safe manufacturers.
Safe makers. Yeah.
Yep.
Mike Baker, the safe maker.
Mike Baker, the Safe Maker. What? So
It's a great little jingle.
right.
You've never heard that one before?
No, I
have you?
actually haven't. No,
Have you
it's
not?
First time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
So part of the range program that we are introducing at SHOT Show, we were looking to partner with somebody. We kind of knew it was going to be Mike, but Gun Vault has painted these safes green, which they will be displayed on the counter at the gun ranges with the WTTA literature. And these places will be safe havens for people to come and check in their guns if they're going through an issue. And believe it or not, there are a lot of people that kind of police themselves. Right.
Right.
But once again, we're trying to make it okay for people to go back to where they got the gun, or having that outlet and being like, I can just drop these off, do what I need to do. Maybe you're going through divorce, maybe it's 7 days of
some sort of stressful event in your life that you just don't feel confident around having a weapon.
Exactly. And
maybe it's not even you. Maybe it's your kid in your home, or maybe it's your spouse, or just somebody else in your home, and you just go, you know what? And maybe you don't have a safe, and so you say, I got to do something.
Right. I don't want to just dispose of them.
Right.
And the ranges, obviously they have to agree to take part in this. What kind of liability is on
there? There's no liability, because it usually gets checked in as, the way around that is getting checked in as gunsmith work.
Okay.
So, they
So
basically
they go there,
polish your
take
guns
them.
up, and
So you guys are working with ranges across the nation to implement this program?
Yeah, and there are ranges doing similar programs. There are people that have their system already,
right.
But we just want to make the idea of the green safe. And if you see it, we should have brought one.
We should have brought one.
Idiots. If you see it, it pops, right?
Yeah.
Like, so if you're in a gun store, you're gonna definitely be like, "What is that?"
It's gonna stand out.
Yeah, I mean, we've had it in our booth here at SHOT Show for the last couple of days, and it's sitting out on a counter, and we have a booth full of safes, and people are walking through, and they just stop, and they go, "Why is there a green safe in your booth?" And it's just a conversation starter.
Okay.
And then we go through and explain the whole thing behind it, and they're like, "That's brilliant."
Yeah, it really is. So how would people go about? They just call their local range and see if they're
Well, that's the thing. We're
taking part in this program.
Rob and I are pretty much spearheading finding the ranges that want to be part of this, or going through the Walk to Talk America website and saying, I'm interested in this.
Well, let's help take some work off you guys. Let's reach out to the lead heads and let's have them go to their local range.
Yes.
And talk to your local range, see if there's something that they would be interested in. Get in touch with me, talkinglead@gmail.com. I'll get in touch with Mike, or Mike, give your direct information where they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, I mean, social media. You find me anyway. You find me through the Walk Talk America website.
Right.
Eagle Imports.
Eagle Imports.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out there. Instagram.
But yeah, I mean, and there's probably, I know I've got several people that own ranges that are listening to the show too. So if you guys are interested in that, get in touch with me, talkinglead@gmail.com. Put WTTA safe program. Is that?
Yeah, just go to the WTTA.
In the subject,
yeah,
So
exactly.
I'll know what it. So I'll know what it is, and we'll try to take some workload off of you, brother.
Thank you. I need that. I want to talk about his new safe, the idea, the concept that we came up with.
Okay.
Yes, we have another concept that Mike and I were rolling around that we were just getting ready to launch. So going along these lines of mental health, we started thinking about if you don't have a range where you can take your firearms to, then you're not going to take them down to the police department and say, hey, I'm having suicidal thoughts. You mind holding my guns for me?
If you ever want to get them back,
I'll be back in 3 days to pick them up.
It's not going to happen.
See how well that goes. So we said, how does somebody who's responsible but can recognize that they're going through a situation, how can they take the steps in their own home? So we came up with the idea that at the time I was working on developing some smart locks that you can use through Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and you have a phone app. And we said, what if we could program the safe to go to sleep for a period of time, and you couldn't access
be
it.
Inoperable.
Just be inoperable. Just shut it down. And I met with my programmers. We developed it, put it all together, and we're just getting ready to launch that. So
very cool.
So if you're having those type of thoughts, you can just program your safe for whether it's 24 hours, 3 days, a week, whatever the time frame is that you need. You can put it in a sleep mode. And Mike likes to call it.
Or a loved one can do that.
Yeah, or a loved one. Mike likes to call it a crisis.
Crisis mode.
Crisis mode.
Okay.
And
trauma mode.
And you can't take it out of that. So if you put it in for 3 days, you're locked out for 3 days.
Gotcha.
And then hopefully after that, you've kind of settled yourself down and maybe got the help that you needed.
Right.
Then you're right back at it, back to life.
Now, would this be something, and Mike and I have talked about this, and you probably talked to him about it as well, is this, you have to be there physically to do this, or is this like an app you could do, and you could do it like if I'm on a business trip and, you know, my loved one calls me or friend calls me and says, hey, man, I'm really having some issues. Can you know, implement safe mode?
So right now it's through the app, okay, an app on your phone. That app is tied directly to your safe.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of people who suffer
Is it a
from
Bluetooth thing?
Wi-Fi.
It's Wi-Fi?
Or Bluetooth.
Okay.
We have it in different versions. The first one we're bringing out just on our smaller gun vault products will be a Bluetooth.
Okay.
But you know, a lot of people who do suffer from some type of mental health issue might have a loved one that helps them monitor their health. And so, you know, they can, with that loved one, maybe the loved one puts it into that sleep mode, or maybe they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But there's many options.
Yeah, the concept kind of came. I was taking an Uber. I was speaking at Denver Gun Days. I was doing a mental health thing where I was speaking. I was taking an Uber to the airport, and the guy we started talking about the organization and what we do, and he pulls the car over. He turns around. He's like, God put you in this car today for a reason. There's a reason why we're talking, which is kind of, you know, it was a little creepy, but I mean, it's like,
No, you're like,
but he suffers from Lyme disease, and I didn't realize, I never knew that Lyme disease, I mean, I knew it was bad, and I knew it ruins lives, but I never realized how it attacks your brain.
Yeah.
So a lot of characteristics of Lyme disease, they mimic like mental health.
This is my second discussion on Lyme disease this week.
Really?
This is cool. Ticks calls.
Yeah, deer
Lyme,
ticks, yeah.
Deer ticks, really bad. Anyway. Yeah.
No, but so...
I thought I was having a deja vu moment, but...
Well, the irony of it is, I was with the Vice President of Mental Health America, and her son had it. She was telling me. So when he turned and started talking about this, I was like, oh my God, this is twice in a week that I heard about it. Right. Well, he had this really cool arrangement with his wife, where I guess when he goes into these dark days, sometimes he'll lose days. He was like, my wife knows to remove the guns from the house. You know, I asked, I said, does that upset you? He's like, no, that's our rule. She makes that call for me. He's like, she knows me more than I know myself.
Yeah,
like,
and for this program to work, there's got to be, you know, cooperation and agreement in place.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not going to really work.
Right.
But think of it this way. Look, to have it on there, it's just like your radio, right? If you don't like a certain station, you don't go to it. You don't have to use it. But, you know, if people who want to police themselves or their
People
own
who are serious about their mental health for a reason,
right?
Yeah.
have that option now.
And there's other practical uses for it as well. Let's say you're going to be traveling, you're going out of town.
Man.
You know, you could set this on a week, you know, thing. You know, you're going to be gone a week, and then
Absolutely, it's another security measure if you're traveling. Maybe your kids have access to your safe. You know, maybe you got older kids and
stay by themselves. Yeah.
Right, and you trust them to, you know, maybe they even have their own guns in the safe that they use. But you're leaving town and you just don't want to have any hassles. You can lock it down.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah, we had a guy downstairs that was kind of arguing with us about it.
Yeah.
Saying that, you know, his kids, that he doesn't need a safe because his kids.
He taught his kids.
And it's like.
Taught them right.
Yeah, but that's great. If your kid's friend comes over who wasn't taught right and they're curious. And then Mike and I are both sharing, after he leaves, we both share stories about us as kids.
Right.
Breaking into your parents' stuff. Oh, I would take my dad's gun out all the time when he was out of town.
Right.
I mean, that's the first thing I would do. I'd grab the 30-30, you know, I was, 12 years old. I wasn't supposed to be touching it. I knew I wasn't, but I knew how to use it. I knew to safely use it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't. You know what I mean?
Exactly, but that's a prime example of we know how kids are mischievous, and they will, if you tell them not to do something, they're going to do it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was born in this industry.
So this guy was not just completely naive.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was born in this industry, and yet as soon as my dad walked out the door, me and my brother were just searching for guns. We just want to look at them. We just want to play with them.
Because they're cool.
They're cool.
They're cool.
Yeah, he was saying something like, I have a bunch of guns laying around the house in different spots, but you can't see them. because you got to be able to get to him if that. I call it the boogeyman that everyone's so afraid of, like it all the time. Like, okay, that's really cool.
This guy is just completely naive.
He probably doesn't think his kids ever find their Christmas presents before Christmas either.
That's right. I was going to use that as an example because I always did that. I still do, don't I?
Yeah, so,
It's just in our nature. It's just in our nature. Look who it is.
Look who it is.
The Drewmeister.
It's happening, baby.
So this safe, it's out, it's available.
This safe is in production right now,
Okay.
so we should be in stores a little later this year.
Okay, and what do you call it? What's the name of it? You got a catchy name?
Did you name
yet?
it after me?
Oh man, it doesn't have a catchy name yet. Yeah, we're still working on that.
Okay, well there you go, lead heads.
TBD.
Send us your suggestions on what Mike should name his safe.
Right. It's gonna have a bunch of other features too. It's gonna, it's a biometric safe, and built just like our gun vault products have always been built. Very quick access. It'll have biometric technology and then also Bluetooth as well.
Yeah,
Cool.
and Gun Vault is, I can't thank you enough for your support. They're big in supporting the Walk the Talk America movement, whether it's the donation of the safes or even donating safes locally to the Nevada Coalition for Suicide Prevention. Richard Egan, Mike was instrumental in providing Rich with safes to use for gun owners that don't lock up their guns, like that guy downstairs that we were talking about.
downstairs.
Yeah, like so it's.
And talk about the other companies that are behind you guys now. Starting to get a good support base.
Yeah, I mean, Arms Corps, MKS, High Point, those guys all came on board. Arms Corps on board.
Karen, Charlie. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. I was talking to Remington while I was here. I was talking to Chris over at Ruger. He has an interest. Century is going to come on board. He just sat down, and I can tell by the look on his face that he is ready to jump on board
With WTTA. Does he have a bracelet?
I think he's pulling out a checkbook right now.
It's crazy.
He's writing the first check right now.
I do $1 a gun for every Eagle Imports gun, right? Burst of a gun.
Right.
You said $25 a gun or $25 a Draco?
$200 a Draco.
Sorry for you about that.
Okay, all right. Laura Burgess, John Renzulli, everybody's
Talking lead.
Talking Lead, yes. Davidson's, Lipsy's, Collision
Behind you
Noir,
there.
Rob chipped in.
Rob
Kenny
Lucas.
Gleason, the president of NASUW, gave us a nice donation.
Nice. So you lead heads, if you want to get behind WTTA, you go to their website. There's information there. There's a contact link there. Get in touch with Mike and find out what you guys can do to help WTTA awareness. Get out there, support, volunteer. Mike will tell you exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, whether it's a resource or anything like that. I mean, not everyone has money. We get that. But go to the website. First of all, everyone needs to go there anyways because we have an awesome screening for mental health awareness. There's 9 different screenings on there that you can go take, an anonymous free screening.
Okay.
And just learn a little bit about yourself. We got these in the Clark County School District, these bands.
The wristbands,
yep.
yeah.
We're running around with these bands.
Awareness bands.
And basically, if you want, you go to WTTA.org/love, and you're able to take an anonymous free screening and figure out if you have any questions, what it is. I got the idea from my daughter, who approached me and said, "Hey, listen, Dad, I think I suffer from anxiety." And I was like, "Well, why do you think that?" And she gave me a couple of reasons. And I said, the organization that Daddy works with, they have a free screening. You should go on there and try it. She went on there. I said, answer it honestly. She was 2 days later, she comes into my room. She's like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I took that screening." And she lit up. Her face lit up. She's like, "I only have mild anxiety." So I was like, "That's a good thing, right?" And she's like, No, I feel so much better. And I said, "Well, what did it tell you?" And she's like, "It actually tells you ways that you could,
Help overcome that.
Mitigate it, right?
Yeah,
Like you should,
mitigate.
But
So it diagnoses
11-year-old
and then
is-
it gives you suggestions on.
yes, it gives you resources and suggestions.
Yeah.
But I thought about this because I'm growing up in Jersey with my Italian family, and if I would have said to my father or my grandfather or anybody, like, "I think I suffer from anxiety," they would have said, I will show you something.
I'll show you anxiety.
I'll give you anxiety.
Yeah, I'll give you anxiety.
And,
I'll give you
so
something to cry about.
Yeah, so, exactly, right? It's an old school way of thinking. But, you know, sometimes we've got to remove that element. Now, we have these in the schools. Kids can go there. They can kind of take it on their own. They don't have to tell anybody.
And like you said, this is not getting shared. It doesn't go anywhere past that.
Nope.
That website.
Nothing. I mean, that's one of the
and
things
you don't
I
have
love.
to put your name or anything like that.
Nope. You don't have to give them any information. You just go through and answer it as honest as you can, and it logs it and shows you where you end up. And I actually have another family member that took it and did not like what she found out about herself, and she immediately went to go seek help to stay ahead of what potentially could happen one day. So
be proactive.
Yeah. You know, I think
even if you think you're, the mentally fit, person, nothing wrong with you, go just do it anyway. You never know.
Yeah,
you never know what you're going to find.
So, that's a big thing for our website. It's a big thing for us to go out there and, we don't want to lose our rights, right? It's important to us, so we need to stay anonymous sometimes.
We need to do self-healing,
self-reflection.
What I'm trying to say is we need to keep the government out of all this stuff, and we work with our, amongst ourselves, with each other, then it's going to be better than, government coming in and dropping laws and regulations. And
if we start inside and show the other side, hey, this is what we're doing, because believe it or not,
we don't need the government. We're working on this ourselves between
the
gun industry and the mental health industry.
Yeah, they don't know. I mean, and why would they, right? Like, a lot of people don't go take the time to find out about another industry, especially when they're not in it.
Yeah, so something's completely non-related that you think is non-related, but it really is.
And if you get your sources, certain media outlets that sensationalize things, then you're going to just, why not? Why wouldn't you believe them, right? Like, I don't know, you're in your echo chamber, like, go. But you'd be surprised at what they don't know, right? Like, little things. Like, I'm having conversations with people at MHA. They're like, well, one day maybe we can get a gun lock in every gun box across the United States.
It's already doing that.
Yeah, but see, you can't be mad at that. It's
just lack of education.
Yeah, right. But like, this is how they're going to learn, by opening the dialogue. So that's what it's all about.
Very good. So once again, give the website.
WTTA.org or walkthetalkamerica.org or walkthetalkamerica.com. There you go. And you just, like I said, we're on there. There's so much stuff you can do on our site. You can share stories. You can submit things. There's articles. We have a lot of stuff on there.
Very good. And Mike, for your company?
Yeah, so check out our products at either gunvault.com, canonsafe.com, or stackon.com.
Stackon.com. And the new safes are getting ready to come out. When those are ready and they're out being produced, let me know. Let's have you back on the show, and then we'll let everybody know that they're out and available.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
All right, and thank you for everything you're doing with Mike on WTTA.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to be back with more from the 2019 SHOT Show. Final days here at the Leadquartes at Buck Knives. Perfect.
Oh, look who it is. Well. Right as we wrap up.
All right, Leadheads, we are back at the 2019 SHOT Show at the official Leadquarters, Buck Knives. And we have the distinct pleasure to introduce our first governor to the Leadcast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to try to get some hints. How long have you been a governor?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks? You're that fresh as the governor?
Maybe 3.
No, you've been longer than that.
Nope.
Are you serious?
I was lieutenant governor for 10 years, and I just just got inaugurated. Well, I was here 2 years ago at this booth representing Idaho at that point in time. So this isn't my first SHOT show.
Well, congratulations on the.
Thank you.
I thought you were a little bit longer than that, but 2 weeks, very nice. Brad Little, ladies and gentlemen, Governor of Idaho, welcome.
Well, it's good to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
I love the SHOT Show. It's we have to race from Idaho vendor to Idaho vendor, but there's a lot of distractions in between them because there's all these great booths you want to stop and look at and visit.
Now, I've not heard of any other states' governors coming to help push and promote, the commerce and economy at this show. So
Mark Gordon, the brand new governor in Wyoming's here. We haven't crossed paths, but I know he's here. So.
Mark Gordon's here as well. Okay, very nice. So this isn't your first SHOT Show. How many SHOT shows you been to?
This is just the second time.
Okay, so last year.
Ago,
What was your initial impression on your first SHOT Show? Were you just like, wow?
It's big.
It's kind of big.
Well,
isn't
and it's just so hard to imagine the amount of vendors and the variety of products and the incredible ideas and new stuff that's
right. The technology.
Yeah.
You said in Idaho you guys call it
RecTech.
RecTech. Yeah, recreational technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that phrase. You should do a shirt on that.
Yeah, we've got stuff.
Idaho
on
RecTech.
Yeah. Well, like the, obviously the gun and armament is a big part of Idaho, but
you got a lot of it up there. Yeah.
And Idaho, we manufacture a lot of jet boats in Idaho.
Jet boats.
Yeah, and
didn't realize that.
And some of the finest wooden boats that you've ever seen.
What kind of wood are they using on that?
Well, these are Standcraft, which is a very, very famous, classic wood boat.
Yeah.
Kind of like the old Chris Crafts.
Oh yeah.
But they're
beautiful.
Better.
They're better because they're from Idaho,
yes.
right? The reason I was asking that is, Buck's doing a new line of knives in collaboration with Taylor Guitars, and they're bringing in ebony from Africa.
Yep.
So that was really cool. But anyway, I get sidetracked. I do squirrels every now and again. So, what is the thing that you think really sets SHOT Show apart, maybe from other industry events? Because I'm sure you go to other ones as well.
Well, I think a lot of it is the chemistry. I talked to a couple of vendors, Idaho vendors, that and Buck Knives is a classic example, that whether it's part of their supply chain or their competition, there's so much manufacturing that's being reshored to America, and the sporting community loves that Made in America logo.
They dig it.
And we want to be a big part of that. We want Idaho to be a place to where new parts and pieces are made right here.
CJ's giving us a hard time
Okay.
here. Giving us a hard time. I know you got other appointments, and this is a great honor. I appreciate you being on. I've got a line of new guy questions that I ask. I'm just going to skip to it real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to hit you with some of those right off the bat. What's your earliest recollection of shooting a firearm?
Earlier than I can remember. We have a pheasant hunt in our family that we've had continuously for 70 years. So
nice tradition.
When I was a little, as soon as I could go,
4, 5, 6 years old.
Well, I was out there. And
you were there.
Of course, the first thing I had was a BB gun to shoot pigeons.
There you go.
Then we elevated up from there. But we have a long tradition of. I remember my first deer hunt, and now I've got a 8-year-old grandson that's going to have his passport, which is what we have in Fish and Game, so these youngsters can get started. And I'm excited for him to join his dad and me out hunting.
Very nice. When it comes to pop culture, movies, TV, magazines, whatever it may be, what's your go-to that's outdoors or firearms related? What do you really like just sitting down and just taking in?
Well, of course, I used to watch I don't have much time to do that anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah, back in the day.
The sporting, of course, I remember Sportsfield. I remember some of the old programs that existed a long time ago. Some of them today are a little over the top, and I wonder.
They can be. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was up fishing one time, and there was a program that was affiliated with that, and they actually went out and took some of the fish that we caught and re-caught them. But I just like, and I like the variety of being outdoors.
There you go. Yeah, good answer. If you could spend the day at the range, or maybe I'll rephrase it, if you could go hunting with anyone, or maybe a group of people, whether they're still alive, past, or fictional, who would you like to spend the day at the range with?
Always first is our family. And because of that, and then Governor Otter, who was my predecessor, I love to hunt with him. He's a really good shot.
Okay.
And he's really a sportsman. I mean, everything he does is, safety in mind. The
safety first, always.
Culture of being a sportsman. The culture of hunting, and I'm when you get into these kind of wild hunting deals where people are shooting everywhere, and mainly because I've done it with my family, I'm so conscious of it that I
Right.
like when I'm bird hunting. I like everybody to be safe. I've been peppered enough times that
Right. If you could pick a fictional character, who would you go?
John Wayne.
Perfect. That's a great answer. Let's leave our listeners with this. Tell us why we should come to Idaho.
Well, I just love all the opportunities we have. We're very diverse, bighorn sheep, moose, every kind of upland game animal, and then of course lots of birds and lots of fish, and so just a lot of variety.
A lot of variety to the outdoorsman out there.
Right.
So
I'm
thank you
gonna
so
get the
much,
hook.
Governor. We
All right,
appreciate it.
thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, I'm off.
Get your shirts.
All right, are those my shirts? No.
Your handlers are called. Glad you guys reached out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Marty.
All right, guys, we are back at the 2019 SHOT Show at the official Leadquartes, Buck Knives. And I've got a great group here with me right now, Zenith Firearms. You guys are familiar with Zenith. We've had them on in the past. I'm sure you're familiar with their line of firearms, but if you're not, we're going to fill you in and let you know a little bit more about Zenith Firearms. I've got Ben and James with me with Zenith Firearms, and they brought some props because they know I like props.
Brought some props, yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
welcome, Ben. Welcome, James.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, Marty. We appreciate it.
Thanks for being on.
Appreciate the time. Yeah, we glad to be here and excited for 2019. So, I had spoke earlier and wanted to see if you wanted to chat. So
We do. We want to fill the lead heads in on all the latest and greatest from Zenith Firearms. But before we do that, for the ones who aren't familiar with Zenith Firearms, kind of tell our lead heads a little bit about your company.
Okay.
Sure.
James, go ahead.
Well, Zenith Firearms is a U.S.-based firearms manufacturer and importer out of Virginia. And what we specialize in are the roller-delayed blowback line of weapons that were originally introduced by the Heckler & Koch company.
Okay.
That most people know as the MP5 9mm series.
We talked about those a little bit earlier. There's is this yours? I'll get it out of your way. Sorry about that. There was a company came by that had like an MP5 style charging handle on their 9mm pistol that they're doing. So,
I got you.
yeah. So often imitated, right?
Sure.
And where we came into existence was kind of seeing an opportunity where H&K as a company in the late 90s started to move away from the roller-delayed blowback line of weapons, and they went to a new style of weapons. But there was still a desire, there was kind of a gap in the marketplace, both from the commercial aspect, but also from the law enforcement community that still was in desire for those weapons.
Right.
So we work with a company out of Turkey called MKE. They're the largest arms manufacturer in the country. And since the 1970s, they've been a licensed producer from H&K of this series of weapons, these roller-delayed weapons. So the H&K had set them up with all the equipment in their factory and the technical data packages and the instruction, and they've been making them for their own national defense needs since the 70s. So we've been importing those weapons in and then selling them through the commercial law enforcement community, and now we're doing overseas sales as well.
Cool.
And the 9mm platforms have really obviously been the ones that have got the most interest, but this year we've released the 7.62 model, which we're calling the Z3.
Oh, sweet.
Which is patterned after the HK G3 or HK91 rifle. We'll also be bringing in the 5.56 model, the Z33. And then also this year we're releasing a training program. So we are now offering armorer courses for both civilians and law enforcement so that they can be certified and trained on our roller-delayed platform of weapons. So those individuals can maintain their own weapons through the future. We're also doing operator courses for both law enforcement and civilians, and those courses will allow individuals to come and learn specifically about the manual of arms, the uniqueness of our weapons, how to get the most out of them, but also more of a tactics based, where these weapons shine, where they're going to be most effective, and how to get the most out of them.
Now, where are you offering these courses? Are they in Virginia?
We're going to offer them in a mobile training team format. We found that's the most effective way to reach our population. Whether
Go
that's
to the customer?
Yep, go to the customer. So
nice.
For law enforcement, we can come straight to their own ranges. We'll bring everything they need. If it's an armor course, We'll have all of the tooling, the weapons, the manuals. If it's an operator course and they don't have the weapons, we can bring those to them.
Nice.
And on the civilian side, same thing. If you're a customer and maybe you don't have a Zenith weapon or you don't have an H&K style, but you want to go and learn the training, get off the plane, come right to us. We'll have the guns, we'll have the ammo, we'll have the magazines, all the gear.
Everything you need right there.
Turnkey operation. You run the training, turn the guns back over to us. We'll do all the cleaning at the end. And
Even better.
Even better.
Sold, right?
That's right.
So they go to your website to sign up for these courses, these classes?
we haven't released them yet. We're going to be doing that over
Coming
the
up,
next
okay.
next month or so. Build that out, but you'll be able to go to the Zenith Firearms website, and there'll be a tab on there for training, and then all the course opportunities, both for the closed LE courses and the open enrollment civilian courses, will be available for sign up.
Okay, very cool.
Yes, sir. We're excited.
So let's talk firearms, man. We talk lead here.
Yeah.
So you got a little something over there.
A little something.
Let's talk about it.
I brought off our LE wall. This is a Z5P with a silencer code Omega 9 can on it. With the 3-lug quick attach silencer. It's got the burst trigger group on it, 3-round burst trigger group, and a choke folding stock.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
I like that. And what is this called?
The Z5P.
Z5P.
Yes, sir.
It's 9mm.
9mm so gun.
And you make these semi-auto.
Yes, sir.
Also, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
This would be one I can't own. This would be the one like you guys offer to the law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
Military.
Yes, sir.
Very nice.
Yeah, we've been really successful with campus police. Unfortunately, due to the sign of the times, University of Arkansas bought 40 of those from us for their plainclothes officers.
The University
of Arkansas, yes, sir.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a highly concealable firearm, yes, sir.
Yeah, we get from the civilian customers. You get a lot of guys who want, a truck gun. It's something that they can keep in their vehicle.
Right.
But it's low profile. It can fit inside a backpack. They don't have to worry about it being as visible. There's not a lot that you can't take on with 30 rounds of 9mm right there in a very compact, accurate, reliable platform.
Now, do you guys make full size?
We do.
As well, 16-inch?
Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm sure that brace compatible on the
Yes, sir.
the pistol models.
Exactly. What we pride ourselves in doing as a company is not just selling the product itself, but the full product solution. So we've partnered with several industry partners that can help us provide those solutions. So we've got other companies we work with that can provide stock and brace options, magazines, optics mounts, rails, suppressors, anything that you can want. You can come to us and we can build that entire package as a one-stop shop instead of saying, here's the gun, go figure out how you're going to outfit it. And that's
nice.
taken off really well and helped us support our other industry partners in what they're doing as well.
Is this a new for 2019? This one I'm looking at now?
No,
we've had that out since 2015, but it still continues to be probably our hottest seller, just for the super compactness that people are looking for in that kind of platform.
Right. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of work. I like it. Definitely like that. Now, what can we expect from you guys in the future? What's on the horizon for Zenith?
I think this year, besides the courses that we mentioned before and the 7.62 rifle being released here, we're going to bring the 5.56 component as well. And then here, near the end of the year, I'd like to be able to offer what's referred to as the MP5 SD. It's an integrally suppressed version of the full-size MP5. And what it allows you to do is not have to use subsonic ammunition.
Okay.
The suppressor design slows a supersonic bullet down to the rate where you don't have to change your ammunition out. So it's the quietest submachine gun platform on the planet.
Absolutely,
Purpose designed to be suppressed all the time.
Okay.
So we're looking to be able
Will
to
you
offer
offer that in a brace configuration,
Correct.
so you only have to get the
yes,
one?
sir.
It'll still be a one stamp because of the
for the
suppressor.
suppressor, right.
But for those people that don't want to have it be a short-barreled rifle, we'll have a pistol variant that'll be available for brace options as well.
Nice. And they can go to your website and see the different models that you guys have there. Now, you have distributors. Are these in like your local gun store? They can go in and ask for Zenith.
We do as well. So we work through distributors as our main effort. RSR Group is our main distributor.
RSR, okay.
And then we have several direct dealer connections. And once we get back, we're also going to be building our website where you'll be able to go direct to our website in what we're going to call our Build-A-Gun section. So you can select the individual weapon in a pistol format, and then it's going to prompt you to which forearm do you want, or which brace do you want, or which optic do you want. And you can build it all in one-stop shop, and our armorers will put it all together and send it to you so it's ready to go.
Now the suppressor that's on this, I mean, do you have adapter? It's just threaded. You can put whatever adapter you want for
yes, sir. So
your flavor of suppressors.
All of our weapons come with a 3-leg adapter and a direct thread option, except for our K model. So that particular weapon has the Silencer Co. Omega 9 can on it, utilizing the 3-leg adapter. So all of our weapons, except for the K, allow you to direct thread or quick connect.
Very nice.
And we work with some of the other well-known companies, whether it's Silencer Co., Dead Air, and now we're also designing our own suppressor.
Now, do you guys, is there an option for a rail to put a red dot or something like that on there?
Absolutely. All of our weapons come with a Picatinny rail from us. It's not mounted on the gun. It's in the box with the weapon. So absolutely, it just set screws on to the top of the weapon.
Cool. Very
yes,
good.
sir.
And then for your 16-inch, you're coming out with 7.62. You're going to do the 5.56. Are those going to be railed so you can put different scopes on there, like 1 to 4s or something like that?
Exactly. It'll come with the same
type option
rail in the box that you can add on if you want to mount any type
beautiful
of Picatinny.
guns, man. Beautiful firearms.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another big thing that we're doing is services and repair for any roll relay blowback weapon system or direct blowback weapon system. And we do that at our shop in Afton. So if any of the HK fanatics out there that have a weapon go down and they can't fix it, send it to us. We can rebarrel, refinish. We can do custom.
Bring it back to life.
Bring it back to life. Yes, sir.
We've had great success this year, specifically with the law enforcement community, offering those services so that they can bring their MP5 weapons that have been in service for 20, 30 years. They've been rode hard, put away wet. We can bring those back up to speed, like new condition.
Yes, sir.
Ben, James, thank you guys so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having us.
Share this information with us.
Brought you some swag. So I'll pass this out real quick. There's a Zenith hat.
Nice.
And brought you a SHOT Show 19 T-shirt.
Look at you go, buddy.
So.
All right. Thank you for doing that.
There you go.
Hit the Instagram and Facebook and all that real quick. Tell everybody where they can go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure. Our Facebook and Instagram pages is Zenith Firearms. Website www.zenithfirearms.com.
Very good.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks, Marty.
Yep.
And we're going to have more from these guys. We had to do a quick interview, but I want to have you guys back on. We're going to talk some more detail about your guns and whatnot. So
sounds great.
More from the 2019 SHOT Show from the official Leadquartes. Buck Knives coming right up. So you guys are going to share that? You cool with that?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I might need to turn you up.
Yeah.
Turn if you get about right there.
All right. All right.
Turn it up just a little bit. That way. All right, guys. I couldn't hear you. We are back at the 2019 SHOT Show. This is the final day, Friday, and we're still making it. Still got our voices, and I had to bring on some help. I had to bring on a stronger voice to help me get me through these last few interviews here at the official Leadquarters of Buck Knives. Andre is joining us again.
Great to be here, and I love being with you, and you speak the truth, and I love your audience.
So also joining us is another strong voice, and one that you're definitely going to recognize.
Hi, how are you?
is the former other voice of Talking Lead, Zeke Stout.
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
How are you?
I'm doing good. Not as good as you, though. I mean, you slimmed down, buddy.
I've lost 50 pounds since we filmed the show.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
How?
I saw a picture of myself on TV.
Oh, that'll do it.
And immediately, no, I did keto diet with intermittent fasting, and then started doing Krav Maga. It's a martial art.
Oh, nice.
And then
Tim McGraw, I call
it.
Tim
Crotch McGraw or grab my crotch, either one. And then weightlifting. So
Really?
Yep.
Free weights?
Yeah, free weights.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been crazy, but I feel amazing. This is the first SHOT Show where I'm like, I feel good.
No leg problems?
No,
Your leg
I
hadn't
didn't almost
swollen up
lose
yet?
my leg this year.
That's happened twice, right?
No, it happened once, and then I was constantly dealing with it, and then at Eric's thing, I had to
That's
leave.
what it was, yeah.
I had to leave because it just wasn't healing.
Yeah, I remember that.
But now it's better. And
So-
mostly it was just because I was a fat ass.
Master of Arms.
Yes.
The Discovery Channel's newest, what would you call it?
Game show.
Game show.
I'm like the redneck Pat Sajak.
Redneck Pat Sajak. But what's unique about that is there's not just one. I mean, you're kind of the driving force, the leader,
Right.
but you've got two other co-hosts with you.
Yeah. So I'm the main host, and then we have Ashley Lubinsky. She's the curator of the Cody Firearms Museum in Cody, Wyoming.
I saw her at Range Day, by the way.
Yeah.
she's out there.
She is our historian co-host, and then we have Trenton Ty, who is our craftsman judge. He's a blacksmith down in South Georgia, and then we have Nicholas Irving, who is the Reaper. He is one of the Army's most prolific snipers in history, and he's our final tester. He used to be our surprise ending tester. Now every contestant's going to know who it is.
Know who it is?
Yeah, so.
Well, I'm sure you guys will put a twist to it on season 2, right?
Oh, yeah.
And can we expect
I may
season
actually
2?
do the twist on season 2 if we get a season 2.
Well, that's what I was asking. Have they not?
We're still
no
like in
announcement yet?
limbo. I was actually going to ask, you still call her Pepper?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to say it. Her be like, I said don't call me that anymore. No, I was going to ask Pepper if that was like normal in the industry to just be waiting.
Yep.
But I've also heard that if they were going to cancel us or not renew us, we would already know because it ended a month ago.
No, that's not true.
Dang it.
And
You're
why-
supposed to say yes, Zeke.
I know.
Be
I'd
fine.
love to help you with that. But I worked on a show in August last year called Real Country in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to come back in March,
Right.
which is next month almost.
Yeah.
And Travis Tritt was on the show, and I talked to him 2 days ago, and he said we haven't heard.
Oh, wow.
So
it's normal.
So don't take it personal.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good sign.
Yeah, we had good numbers, but we weren't retaining what Gold Rush did, which Gold Rush is their highest rated episode.
And they were coming on after you guys.
No,
right?
they were before us.
Oh, they were before you.
So we didn't
Okay.
retain all of theirs. So it's kind of like, you're good, but you're not great, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
But-
I mean, it's the first season.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll gain some traction. Just from the responses I'm getting at SHOT Show, it kind of has like a little cult following going.
Cool.
Like we've been getting stopped, and people are like, "Oh yeah, it's awesome." And then like 3 or 4 people.
Well, you know,
line up
everybody
to
in
talk
the
to us.
industry here, knows about it. It's
Right.
been spreading the word and building it up.
That's what I love about this industry.
Are they playing reruns of it?
They
Replays?
did for about a week. They're not now, just because their new shows are popping in.
Yeah.
While it was airing, they rerun them all the time. Like
Oh,
we
cool.
had 2 or 3 days where they did like a Master of Arms marathon. They put new little segments at the end of them, and then
Yeah.
put new edits on it. It was kind of cool. So
cool. So yeah, make sure you guys go check out Master of Arms on the
Yep.
Discovery Channel.
Yeah, you can get
And,
it on demand, iTunes, Amazon, Hulu, soon to be Netflix, I think. I hadn't heard for sure yet. So.
Now you didn't come empty-handed. You brought
No.
someone along with you.
Yeah, I'm sitting here talking about me, and I actually brought Joe. I wanted to talk about his stuff. Fellow Tennessean.
Good segue into it.
Yeah, good fellow Tennessean. I actually went to college with his wife.
Oh,
and
okay.
we stayed friends on social media and stuff. And actually, we had talked about it about 4 or 5 years ago. I said a friend of mine from college, her husband started this hero hunt.
Yes.
And he takes, first responder. And we never really, at that time, we were getting so many guests and we were trying to book everything. I was going to SDI, so it was a big chaotic time. And we never were able to get it done.
Kind of fell through the cracks.
Yeah, and so I'd still not met them, but I kind of followed what they were doing. Then 4 years ago, 3 years, did we decide 3 or 4 years?
3
years.
3 years.
Yeah, so we were at NRA, and this guy's talking about his organization. I'm like, oh, awesome, cool, yeah, it's great. And then he says his name is Joe Towers. So they carry on a conversation. I'm sitting there going, Towers, why do I know that name, Joe Towers? And they're having a good conversation. It's deep. It's very emotional because of what he does. And I go, "You're Kim's husband," and he just gives me this look like, "Who the hell are you?"
Right.
And
my wife.
Yeah, and we hit it off. I actually got to go on a hunt with him, and you'll hear what he does here in a second. Back in the beginning of December, we took 6 Purple Heart recipients out down to Moscow, Tennessee.
Nice.
And I got to see the good work that happens. I mean, these guys come in and they're just kind of like arms crossed.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they're not trusting.
A little skeptical.
Yeah. And by the time they're done, they've opened up. You can see the therapy that's happening through all the hunts, and it's really cool. But I'll let Joe kind of say who he is.
So Hero Hunt Inc. is the name of the organization. This is a nonprofit.
Correct.
Okay. Joe Towers, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having
welcome
me.
to the Talking Lead podcast.
I appreciate being here.
I'm glad you could make it. So tell us about Hero Hunt.
Well, we started in 2012. We were just going to host a few guys on our farm, and we're talking to another organization about, hey, can you send some guys, girls, doesn't matter who they are, as long as you've vetted them. And they hem-hawed around, and finally, after 3 months of dragging their feet, said that's not what we do. And my wife and told them that's what we do now, and we talked about it a little bit more, and it went by the wayside for a couple months, and we bought our farm in June of 12. No, in May of 12, and on Father's Day of 12, I was out. I didn't have time. I'm a full-time police officer.
Thank you for your service, man.
Thank you. I was down on the farm and just trying to get some stuff done, and I came in and eat dinner, and I said, I've been thinking about it. I didn't want anybody here. This was going to be our little corner. And I said, I think we need to go forward with what we talked about before. Yep. And she never missed a beat. She said, let's go do that. So we started in 12 and applied for our nonprofit status in late 12, got it in 13. And it's grown. That first year we had 3 3-day hunts with 4 to 5 guys to hunt. And so we had about 15 people the first year. We just wrapped up 2018. We had 155 injured police, fire, military come through the program from January through December.
Now, how are you getting your people for your candidates for the hunts? How do you go about finding them?
Just by the advertisements, Facebook, social media, word of mouth, some interviews here and there, and a lot of people are starting to follow our social media pages, and and we encourage people to contact us. If you're injured in the line of duty in the military or a first responder, send us your stuff. We vet everybody because we got to make sure we're getting the right people.
Absolutely.
And they're not. We've had people go, I'm a Navy SEAL Special Ops Ranger. That's cool. Send me your paperwork, and then you never hear from them again, right? Because they know we're going to vet them.
Exactly.
So we vet everybody that comes through, and a lot of it's word of mouth. Other people will see us like on the SHOT Show. I've had several people stop us. It's the first time in 7 years of doing this, I actually walked up and just was talking to a guy cold at one of the booths, and he goes, "Yeah, I know who you are." And I went,
"Okay,
all right." And this is the first time that's ever happened. So we're getting there. I mean, we're getting where we need to be.
Sponsorship? Do you get people to donate gear and guns, equipment, and ammo?
Yeah,
absolutely. So we do. Nobody in our company gets paid. So we have a board of directors of 7 people. Zeke's volunteering his time. He came out with me to help me.
Cool.
He's volunteering his time out here to help me to talk to some people that he knows in the industry, and so we, like one event, we spent I think it was $3,300 just paying for out-of-state licenses for the guys when they get there and the girls.
Right.
So I mean, it's all the money.
It adds up.
Yeah, it does.
You got to have lodging. You got to have food. You got to have.
Absolutely.
Kit, everything, yeah.
We take, from the time they get there to the time they leave, we take care of licensing, food, lodging, if there's, depending on the processing, what kind of event it is.
Harvesting of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very nice. So
that's true. Because one thing that's interesting, you mentioned about the licensing. I've hunted in other states, and I find it amazing how expensive it is that the states charge you. So you've got to go and deal with that right off the bat.
Yeah, if you're out of state, definitely.
I left a duck hunt. I've got 5 guys that left a duck hunt yesterday afternoon. I had to leave early to come out here on Tuesday. Of those 5 guys, I want to say the Arkansas stamps and everything was like $170 a person. That was just you get your federal stamp, your state stamp.
There's got to be something that for these hunts, because there are a lot of organizations like yourself that are set up to do like hunts, to do skydiving, do scuba diving, the Spartan races, all kinds of things,
right,
that are set up. And there'll be something with the hunting license that with an organization like yourself, there's some sort of a waiver or discount. Yeah, exactly.
Some of the states have stuff like Tennessee. If you're a Purple Heart veteran, they get licensing for I think $10 for life.
Yeah.
But if we've got guys coming to Tennessee, that's a process. It takes time to do that.
Yeah.
So when they get there, you got to, you don't have time for that.
I guess it would probably be an administrative nightmare to be able to keep up with all the people coming in and out of the state. So, I don't know. I was just thinking out of the box. So, Hero Hunt Inc., what's your website? Where can our lead heads go and support you guys?
You can go to herohuntinc.org is our website. If you want to reach out to us, if you know somebody that would benefit from what we're doing, they send us an email to herohunting@gmail.com.
Okay.
They can reach out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're pretty much everywhere on all the formats. So encourage them to reach out if there's an outfitter or distributor out there that wants to, give us a place to bring the guys to, or if anybody wants to donate. Those are the easiest ways to get in touch with us.
Okay, very good. And are you guys on social media as well?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Instagram,
sir. Instagram, yes,
Facebook.
sir. Facebook, Instagram.
Hey, Marty.
Yes, sir.
He just said that.
Oh, he did? I didn't hear it.
I was sitting here being all
I'm
professional.
listening for the ats.
I was sitting there going.
So is it like at Hero?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's everything's on.
That's what triggers me is I hear the at.
That's what I love about coming back on. It's just like we don't skip a beat. And it's like I was sitting there going, "Oh, we're on an interview. I can't correct him." I was like, "Oh, it's Marty.
It is
Marty.
Friday.
Hey, you skipped it."
It's the fourth day of SHOT Show. I do have that haze going.
Yeah, I see it.
But yeah, that's it's Hero Hunt Inc. Since we founded, there's a couple other companies that have used a variation of what our name is. So make sure it's Hero Hunt, Inc.
Right.
We're not incorporated. It's kind of funny how the Inc. came to be, but we won't get into that. So
okay,
we'll just say
that's
y'all
another
also
story.
have pins that you give away.
Yeah.
Do you have any coming up? Any hunts coming up?
Actually, we partnered with Tennessee Wildlife Resources in Tennessee, so all their wounded and their wounded hunts for first responders and warriors all goes through us. We vet the people and we fill them in. So we had 16 events last year, and we're already laying out the stuff. We're going to have close to 20. I think we're going to have 22 this year. So, like I said, being a full-time law enforcement officer, I spent a lot of vacation time on the road. And
now, when
and
you've
get
got
stuff
that
done.
many people, do you bring, like Zeke, you said volunteers this time. You got other volunteers because you need more than just two people to.
We do. We're really fortunate with the hunts we do with TWRA because they have their officers that come out and help, and they do that part. But on the other venues, absolutely, we've got other first responders, other veterans and stuff, friends of ours that we know that we vetted them and we know because they're our friends. And yeah, absolutely, we got people that come in and help us do all that.
It'd be cool to have a podcaster come and be a guide on one of the hunts, and then he could interview all the guys.
I would be comic relief is what I would be. But yes, I was going to say, being local right there. I mean, I'm right there. I would love to help out however I can. So.
Yeah, we'd love that. We'd love to have you come out to an event. The biggest thing is people get it, but until they actually see what we're doing, they don't get it.
Right.
They really don't get it. I mean, we actually bring guys in and girls. I mean, it doesn't matter who they are, as long as they've served and they've been injured, we bring them. So, but we've had the people you really click with that really understand what we're doing, like the injured vets or first responders, and everybody in our group becomes family. I mean, I can tell you could point out any of the, 155 people just last year long and say, yep, his name is blah, blah, blah. This is where he's at. This is what he does. It's more of a family environment anyway. And a lot of those guys, as they really get out into the hunt, we start going, why don't you come and guide another injured vet the next time? So you're kind of building.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, pay it forward and kind of building on what
you're starting. And I bet those guys build a bond, too, during their hunt.
Absolutely.
And friendships develop, and they take it further from there. So,
absolutely.
I mean, it's a multi, dimensional helping mechanism system.
It is, and we've had guys that didn't know each, like the hunt Zeke's talking about. There were 6 guys. I know for a fact that 3 of those guys said, "Oh, you live over here," and they link up and go do other things and get out of the house and go do stuff.
I mean, that's the big thing, trying to combat our suicide rate with our law enforcement military men and women, and that's the key thing: is get them off the couch, get them busy, get them out doing things.
Absolutely,
that's their worst enemy is sitting on the couch and not doing anything.
And, from being a vet and being in law enforcement, I'm not taking away from one or the other. But I don't think people realize last year there was 129, is it 125 or 129 law enforcement officers killed across the country, more than we lost.
That 22 a day is not factored in our first responders in LE.
No.
So that number is way more than 22.
There was 60,211 aggravated assaults with injuries against first responders across the country last year. Wow. 60,211.
And you don't hear about that in the media.
No.
At all. So, we are doing a thing on the show right now where Buck Knives, Streamlight, Defy Watches, and FLEOA, Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, we're in tight with those guys. We're giving away a flashlight, a knife, and a watch. 10 of those, 10 packages to 5 civilians, 5 LE. And what we're asking is that the civilians go down and visit their local police department, fire department, first responders office, and just let them know how much they appreciate and that how much they're behind them to counteract all this negativity that we hear in the media. And then just take a selfie and hashtag, everybody. And we're going through randomly and picking winners. So we're doing 5 LEs and we're doing 5 civilians.
From that side of the house, on both sides of the house, I appreciate you guys doing that and bringing that.
We're just trying to build cohesiveness, and we're trying to really just show the cohesiveness that is there between, our civilian population and the law enforcement. Cohesiveness. Thank you. My lips wouldn't stretch.
Cohesiveness.
Coaches.
Coheed and Cambria.
He got the message.
Yeah, I got it.
But yeah, so that it's things like that we do to try to push and promote that as well. So I would love to have Talking Lead myself take part in the hero hunt and whatever we can do, man. Just let us know.
Absolutely, thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So we've got another guest here also. We're not trying to ignore you, but I mean this is good stuff. I meant for you to just chime in anytime you wanted to too, but it's too late for that now.
He's laughed a lot.
Yeah, I've been laughing. I'm just trying to not interrupt and mess up the mojo.
So you come to us via a pack of lead heads that were running around, scouting the show out for me. Nick and Mike and Jacob found you. And this VK Integrated Systems, and this is Vasily.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Welcome in, Vasily. Now you've got, we like high tech, we like innovation on this show, right, Zeke?
Oh yeah.
And you've got a piece of tech here that I'm going to let you describe because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it looks cool. Let's see.
So what we have at our booth upstairs in the next pavilion is a little demo showcasing our collapsible stock, what we're calling CEOS, C for collapsible, or SmartTac Integrated Overmatch Stock. And what it
I like the acronym.
Yeah, so it's a lot simpler. CEOS, C. And we plan on having a F for fixed and then an R for like a rifle, and you can put your Ruger 1022 on it or your 338 Lapua, what have you.
So for our listeners, you've got an AR, upper, lower, and then you've got your butt stock on here.
We got the butt stock, and what the butt stock has in it is a 9-degree freedom IMU. It's got a GPS. It's got.
For the listeners, what does IMU stand for? Actually, in all reality, I don't know, so I want you to tell me.
It's an inertial measurement unit, and what it does essentially just tracks how you move the rifle. Okay. And while you're tracking it, it sends out that information via Bluetooth to like our phone app, for example, or we're working with a company company Simmons Sights down in Irvine, California, close to where we live and work. That works on the Microsoft HoloLens. So we're working on getting augmented and mixed reality integration as well.
So soon. Could you have a team inside a house, like a 6-man team that each had a different frequency? Could you track all 6 of them within a structure?
Yes, we could.
Wow. That'd be useful.
Yeah.
Look at Andre coming in with practical uses for this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I personally think they ought to call it the Smart Asymmetric Stock System, which is the Smart Ass.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah.
I like that. You might want to rebrand that.
Yeah. We'll toss it around the
So
the
break
office.
it down into Lefty language here. Tell me the layman's terms for all what we're doing. And I mean, he gave us one use of this, so what else? So there's an app on your phone or your computer.
And that's what we're using. The app on the phone is what we're using to upgrade the firmware on it, and so we can deliver that. So the apps can be free. We're betaing it right now, and essentially you can store some of that data. So for example, on the hunting trips, you guys can, and maybe we can get integrated with some cooler companies like, I don't know, Onyx Maps. That would be way cool. But so that when they pull the trigger, it automatically puts a little point on a map and starts logging where they were pointing their rifle. and where they were in the real world when they took the shot.
Okay.
You know, on top of that, it's the way this whole thing came about was I wanted to replace a chronograph. So as an engineering student, I was thinking, man, I don't want to have to, bring my chronograph to the range all the time to figure out if I'm loading consistent 7mm Remington Magnum.
Right.
So, I started listing out all the components I needed and said, well, I could use, the inertial measurement, essentially the recoil, the signature of that to determine if my loads are consistent or not. And so after I listed out all the components and figured out that, well, now I've got something a little more than that, we started thinking about, military applications in law enforcement and how we could help with, after action reports, if you will. And this is where the data logging comes into play, where, you have a use of force scenario and we can exonerate the officer and maybe help cut into frivolous lawsuits.
What's the range on that?
So the Bluetooth is pretty close range, kind of like just to connect to your phone.
Okay.
We're trying to
have somebody in the truck monitoring this while they're
definitely
the application that Andre was talking about.
So far we've gone through 2 concrete walls and gone 2 kilometers out, and when we get back, we've got a few tests that we're going to run and set it up so we can try and take it out to 5, 6, 7 and really see where we can improve our antennas in our next version.
Well, from the law enforcement side of the house, I know that when our teams go to do stuff in our agency, the talk is usually a couple of blocks away in a safe zone, and if you could reach that vehicle, I mean, they could watch where their team and everything is at.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
I just can't. I'm trying to avoid saying a joke because he talked about making your loads consistent.
So moving on, the website that people can go to check this out.
VKINTSYS or INTSYS.com, short for VK Integrated Systems.
And where are you out of?
Fullerton, California.
Okay.
We need to get out to probably like Tennessee sooner than later.
Well, yeah, we'd love for you to come out, man. We'll take you to the ranges out there. We'll test this out, do a video or something.
Tennessee is more than happy to bring businesses like you to Tennessee.
We would love you, but we need people to stay in California too to fight the good fight and overcome that bullshit. But
if we
come
like
to Tennessee.
Right. A question for you though: what's the weight? Because I'm looking at this, and what people can't see is what it looks like. It's very similar to what a lot of other CAR or AR-15 buttstock, collapsible buttstocks look like. It's very similar. You wouldn't know that it holds a lot of stuff. So what's the weight?
1.03 pounds right now.
Wow.
And that's due to the batteries. And the way we designed it is it's the integral sort of A-frame, and we can kind of like sell attachments later on, so you can swap out your own electronics and do half the battery life, do lighter weight if you just want a range day, or kind of push it past 24 hours if you're really going on a 3-day hunt, for example.
Very cool.
Okay.
Very nice.
And Zeke, did he say his social media?
Yeah, he started to, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got our Instagram and our Twitter at VKINTSYS, and go ahead, follow us, and we're starting to pick up speed on that.
When you say VKINTSYS, it's VKINTSYS.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very good. Guys, check them out. This is innovation. It's technology, high-tech stuff. Videos on YouTube or anything like that?
We got a couple of them where we're getting some more.
Your website? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to be on.
I just gave you a thumbs up. I forgot we're on radio.
Joe, Hero Hunt.
Yes, sir. Thank you for
We're
having
going to
me.
do some stuff together, definitely.
Yes,
Zeke will get us together.
Yeah, absolutely.
There in Nash Vegas.
Yep.
And Vasily, as this progresses, you guys get with me. Let's keep our listeners updated on the progress.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you.
All right, very good. Andre, we're going to be back with more of the Talking Leadquartes. Thank you.
Of course.
The official Talking Leadquartes at the Buck Noose. Buck Noose?
Buck Noose?
Say it. Get me out of here.
The Buck Knives booth.
Boo. Thank you.
Although
Last day
that's
of-
a good idea. That needs never mind.
Yeah, last day of SHOT Show, and we're all a little punch drunk.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. And that's all due to Andrew last night. So that does it for another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. We appreciate you guys tuning in every episode, every week, sometimes twice a week. And we want to continue to be able to bring you guys these awesome interviews from around the country and around the world. So make sure you go and show some love to all those companies that make this show possible. The official optics of Talking Lead, Riton Optics, RITON optics.com, and let them know how much you like their segment that they do with us, Optics 101, which we're going to get more advanced with that starting in our next episode with J-Mac on that series. And speaking of series, our Talking Lead AK Corner. Hope you guys really enjoyed the last episode where we had James Yeager on. We're going to have another one of those coming up the 15th of this month, dropping part 10 of our 12-part series where we're giving away 12 AKs, and we've had some other companies jump on board and are giving away some things to you lead heads as well that participate, engage, share, let people know, get the word out about Talking Lead and our AK Corner, which is presented by Pioneer Arms Corps. So go show them some love. X-Steel Targets, the best, most affordable AR-500 steel targets on the market today are X-Steel Targets. I know a lot of you lead heads have been adding the AR-500 steel targets to your arsenal, which I've gotten some emails in appreciation and thanks for the discounts that we've been able to get you guys on those. And that goes for all of our sponsors. If you use the code LEADHEAD, typically, that's the code. At any of these companies' websites, web stores, you should be getting a nice discount. If you're not, let me know. It's either expired, they need to renew it, or they've set up something other than Leadhead. But we try to reward you guys the best we can by getting you the best deals that we can from these companies, and X-Steel Targets is one of those. So make sure you go show them some love and use that Leadhead discount code. Kel-Tec Weapons. I talked earlier in the show about the PLR-16 that I have been beautifying, I guess is the word that you could use, and it really looks good. I'll post some more pictures coming up so you guys can see some of the things that I've done to that. And we're going to get Chad on. We're going to get Chad Matt on in an upcoming episode. We haven't heard from them in a while, so we want to talk to them, see how the KS7, their new single-tube 12-gauge shotgun, a bullpup shotgun, is doing, which I know it's flying off the shelves. The same thing with that new 22 long pistol that they have, the CP33, which is a sub $500 gun. I think that's MSRP. So if you can find it, which I know, most of Kel-Tec stuff are so hot, people are buying them as soon as they get into those stores. They're probably on waiting list to get some of these guns. But the CP33, what's cool about it too is that it will hold 33 rounds in each of its magazines. So go check them out, keltecweapons.com, and of course they've got all the parts and accessories for sale there. And I'm working with them on getting a discount code. Haven't got one set up yet, but that's to come. I'm sure we'll get that worked out. And Modern Spartan Systems for all your gun cleaning and lubrication needs. Modern Spartan Systems. You really want to make your firearms more accurate, whether it's a pistol, whether it's a rifle. Go get you some of that Spartan Accuracy Oil. The stuff really works. It's all kind of scientific stuff that they got behind that. That's above my pay grade. But we've had them on several times to talk about it. We're going to get them on again soon, and just give you guys a refresher update on what makes their stuff really work and really good. And I've been using it for the past 6 years at least. And you've heard me talk about their TVT engine oil additive. If their stuff works good in guns, they've got something for your engine that's really going to work good. And the old lead sled has been running great with it. I've got to get a new water pump, which their stuff don't work on water pumps. So there's other things that wear out on my 98 Yukon, my 97 Yukon, that I got to get changed out periodically. But the engine is still running really good. No problems with my engine at all. Check them out, modernspartansystems.com. And another project that you heard me talk about is I was doing some updates to my 300 Blackout that I built a couple of years ago. The old Bo Frankenstein. And good buddies over at Mission First Tactical sent me a handguard, buttstock, pistol grip, some front sights, and it really looks good. It lightened it up. I'm very pleased with the setup that I've got on that now. I've got a couple other things I'm going to tweak on it, but other than that, I'm really, really, really digging my 300 Blackout. It's kind of one of those things, you know, it's been sitting kind of in the back of my safe for a while, and I was ignoring it. I was like, I kind of need to do something new to it, and it's like a new gun now. You know, just changing out the furniture made it a new gun and new interest, and taking it out and shooting it more. So just little things like that. Inexpensive updates to your gun can really make you appreciate them even more and use them more. So check out Mission First Tactical, and along those same lines, Palmetto State Armory has sent me some things. Like I said, a couple other projects I'm working on. One was the Kel-Tec PLR-16, looks good. I've got those parts from Palmetto State Armory. I've got a new buttstock that I'm going to be trying out. It's a Zulu 2.0 adjustable stock from Odin Works, and I just like the looks of it. And I thought it would look good on another gun that I'm kind of refreshing up to add some life to it, re-interest in it. But they've got lots of, they've got pretty much anything you need for your AKs, your ARs, your pistols. Of course, you guys know that they even sell full. They've got a full line of firearms there as well that they sell. But for you people that are like me, that kind of like to build your own stuff, do it yourself, DIY kind of guys, Palmetto State Armory, can't beat them on the prices. So go check them out, PalmettoStateArmory.com. Let them know that you're a lead head. You heard about them here on Talking Lead. And that's another company we're going to try to, even though their prices are already so amazing, try to get you guys a little extra something. So until next episode, lead heads, keep those comments, those jackwagons, those suggestions coming, talkinglead@gmail.com. Make sure you're engaging with us on social media. And you never know, I might just pick somebody at random to win some cool swag, kind of like I'm going to do right now. So on Instagram, so I'm just going to go to Instagram here, and I'm going to go and just scan through here through the likes and scroll. And stop. Jessica.Stokes on Instagram looks to be, and I hope with that name, that is a female listener. Shoot me a email, talkinglead@gmail.com, and I will send you out some cool Talking Lead swag from our vault. I've accumulated a lot of swag from SHOT Show and Big 3 East and all kinds of other things that I've been to in between. So shoot me an email, Jessica, talkinglead@gmail.com. Just put I won some shit or something like that in the subject, and that way I'll know. But that's how easy it is, guys. Just get on our social media, comment, like, share, be engaging with the other folks that are on there. Be polite. Unless they're not being polite, you have my full permission to attack trolls. So if you see some trolley type comments on there, feel free to give them hell from Lefty. So until next time, Leadheads, as always, keep your loved ones close and your firearms closer.
Why hit that road just to trade here?